land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place me ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize, Creole and Garifuna.
This morning we want to go into the book of Micah, and I'll tell you, Micah and Isaiah were contemporaries. Micah was teaching the poor, while Isaiah was teaching the rich or prophesying to the rich. They live around the same time. As I said, they're contemporaries. Their messages are the same. This is one of my favorite passages of scripture, and I've done devotion on this several times. This has to do with when the affluent people, the people of power at the time, were taking advantage of the less fortunate. It's best you get what God bless you with, and whatever God bless you with, you know it's given to you perpetually, and that's what people are supposed to aspire to do. It did not say by the sweat of it did not say by the stealing of thy hands thou shalt eat bread. It said by the sweat of thy brow you are to work, and it's worse when people in authority take advantage of the poor. And that's what we're going to look at here this morning in Micah chapter 2, from verse 1 to verse 5. It says, the oppressors judge. The oppressors judge. We see it all around us in our own country, in the countries around us. That's what the good USA is doing right now. They're putting their hands on what doesn't belong to them. And economic-wise, is because they are running out of resources. So they're going to start to take people's stuff. Be it by it's not right, but they're going to use might if they must. And it's only to prolong the inevitable. And it says here from verse 1, say, woe to those who dream up wicked and prepare evil plans on their beds. Woe. That's a word when you see it in the scriptures. Your ears must go up. It's talking about a severe warning for something that's coming. And it says, woe to those who dream up wicked and prepare evil plans on their beds. Some people who are in authority, they will lie down in their beds, and they have a very wicked and evil plan that they want to do the next day. They can't wait for morning light to come to put their wicked plans into place. That is a very serious thing. I find myself, because I work with contractors, also as administrator works, and I remember the CEO telling me that people were coming there and begging him not to put me to oversee their job. But then he, on the other side, tells me when he wants value for money, he sends me. But that has caused me a lot of problem perpetually, because people start pointing fingers at me, and they're saying that I am this overbearing, unfair engineer, because they feel as if though what government has should just be a purse for the taking, and everybody does it, so they can't understand why I don't do it. I'm saying, no. I understand the consequence that I'm reading here. I understand clearly what's going to happen, and I don't want to jeopardize my children's future. You see, in a moment it may feel sweet when it starts coming together. But what about when we're ready to come back? Because this is what it's talking about here. When God judges those people who do those things, because God will judge people who do things like that. And it says, at morning light, they accomplish it because the power is in their hands. It says, they covered fields, see? They covered fields and seized them. Remember Jezebel's husband, the king? He saw this man's vineyard and he wanted it. And he approached the man, and the man said, I won't sell this. is my inheritance. That should have stopped him. He goes home and he has a long face. His wife sees it. What's wrong with you? He explains. So you are the king. This is what you should do. He did that. He lied on that man and had him killed, and then eventually ended up with his vineyard. How could that not? How could that go unpunished by God? And there are many people today who are alive who are in that category, who have taken away. They have not taken anybody's vineyard, but they've taken away people's inheritance or what opportunity they have. It says, they also take houses. They deprive a man of his home, a person of his inheritance. In other words, the wealthy, because here they're talking about the wealthy have seen what the poor has. They want it. What do? They forcefully or they scheme to get it. And that's bad. And God is seeing it, and God is saying to us here, I see this. And that's why I say, no, therefore. Remember now, therefore comes as a consequence of what we were talking about before, all we were talking about before. Now God is going to make a decision. He's going to judge these people as a consequence of what they have done. It says, therefore the Lord says, I am now planning a disaster against this nation. So because it is rampant, a lot of people are doing it. So God is saying now, you who are in power, this is what you are doing, this is what I'm going to do to all of you. You cannot free your neck from it. He's talking about that device they put around the necks of the bullocks. So your neck is in that, and based on what you have done, you can't take your neck backwards. In other words, you can't walk away. You can't ease out of what is coming your way. You will have to face it. You will have to face what's coming your way, right? So you cannot free your neck from it. Then you will not walk so proudly because it will be an evil time. It's never going to end up in your hands. As this come to a conclusion, it's also going to tell them that, and when it is retaken and redistributed, your family is not going to get their portion. Is it worth the while? I say no. Your family is not going to get their portion. Is it worthwhile? No. And I keep on telling people, if it's an egg you take, you have to pay back for it. It doesn't make sense. It continues and it says, how he removed it from me. He allots our field to traitors. Therefore, there will be no one in the assembly of the Lord to divide the land by casting lots. You won't get. You won't get when it's taken back and redistributed because it was never yours.
Show on TV, catch all the happenings straight out of San Ignacio with plenty of tea. Every Wednesday evening on the show, laughs and real talk. No one tells it like Andy, Belize's favorite storyteller. So grab your friends, kick back, tune in only on PlusTV.
Are you looking for financing on equipment, machinery, vehicles, parts, or tools for you or your business? Banquip and Belize Bank have partnered to make purchasing easier than ever with Belize Bank's convenient online loan application platform. Simply apply online, get fast and secure financing, and access the equipment or vehicle you need to keep moving forward. Even better, use the promo code when applying and enjoy a special promotional interest rate exclusively for Banquip customers. Whether you're upgrading your fleet, investing in new machinery, or purchasing essential parts and equipment, now is the perfect time to make it happen. Visit Banquip today and ask about Belize Bank online loan financing.
Welcome to the William David Fonseca Parking Facility, your modern solution for safe and convenient parking in downtown Belize City. With easy payment options such as prepaid cards or coins, Parking downtown has never been easier. Enjoy affordable rates as low as 75 cents for 15 minutes, $1.50 for 30 minutes, and $3 for an hour. Open and available 24/7. Park smart. Park safe. Park at the William David Fonseca parking facility. Modern, secure, convenient. Your Belize City Council. Always about the people.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
In the heart of Belmopan, there's a pharmacy that cares for more than just prescriptions. Medicare Plus Pharmacy, genuine patient and community-centered care, isn't just a promise, it's what we deliver every day. From medicines and wellness products to everyday essentials for you, your home, and even your pets. We're here for your entire family. Moms and expecting mothers are welcome to nurse in our private counseling room because your comfort matters. We offer diabetes checks, blood pressure checks, and medical counseling to help keep you informed and in control of your health. We support our community through blood drives, nutrition and wellness programs, and partnerships that make healthcare more accessible for everyone. And when medical information feels overwhelming, our trained staff takes the time to explain, guide, and support you so you can confidently manage your health and improve your quality of life. Medicare Plus Pharmacy Belmopan, genuine patient and community-centered care, always.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Las noticias, ahora también en español. Durante 20 años, PlusTV ha llevado noticias en vivo y de confianza a Belmopan y a sus comunidades vecinas. Y ahora estamos ampliando nuestro compromiso de mantenerte informado. A partir del martes 2 de junio, PlusTV se enorgullece en relanzar nuestro noticiero en español en vivo, transmitiéndose todos los martes y jueves de 12 p.m. a 12:30 p.m. con retransmisiones nocturnas a las 7 p.m. Mantente informado, mantente conectado, mantente con PlusTV. Nos vemos pronto.
In Toledo, your land is your biggest asset. It is where most families invest all their cash. It provides your food and, in many instances, your livelihood. But a proposed law could take control of private land and transfer it to village ownership. Even with legal title, your property rights could be extinguished, even if you owned it before 2015 when the consent order was signed. Doesn't matter what your ethnicity, if your land is declared Maya customary land, it will be owned by the village. And while we wait, confusion grows, misinformation spreads, and uncertainty is taking hold. As written, this bill may require a constitutional amendment, meaning this could extend beyond Toledo to all of Belize. This bill is too important to rush. Let's fix it, discuss it, and get it right. Toledo Private and Lease Landowners Limited, protecting property rights through dialogue.
You are my inspiration, seeing you happy and how quickly you grow. You are so tiny yet so smart. You have the most sacred place in my heart. I know you thought I was strong. If only you knew my strength came from you. All I think... Sir, don't you think you're a little bit too big for this story time?
Excuse me? What about all this discrimination? As far as I'm concerned, I identify as a 4-year-old. Besides, I hear this children's book have pictures, and everybody like pictures, right?
Yeah.
Read away, please.
I do all I think you need and ask. I pay attention with love and care. I love her most even when I think you're not there. My name is Madeline Tucker, and I am the author of My Inspiration. And you can purchase this at any of the Angeles Press locations and also on Amazon.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and help.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize.
Good morning, Belize, and welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine, your morning program of choice. Rise and Shine on PlusTV. We broadcast from the capital city of Belmopan, and as we enter a new week, we give God thanks for a beautiful Monday. The sun is shining. It's the 20th of July. That's right. That's how time moves for us. But it's a pleasure coming into your home. So whether you are watching us from Corozal, Orange Walk, Belize District, Cayo District, Stan Creek District, or the Toledo District, we are grateful that you have made Rise and Shine your program of choice. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to be in PG, and of course we were out in one of the villages and doing some work, and then we went to the sea in Paine, that's right, and what a beautiful sleepy town Punta Gorda still is. It's certainly a beautiful drive to and from Toledo. The highway, especially between Dangriga and let me see, up to where that road is being repaired. I think they're almost at the Placencia Junction. Very, very nice road. It's coming along with my favorite hot mix. I definitely prefer the hot mix to the chip seal. They both have their functions. I understand that, but it's a pleasant ride. Not to mention the beauty of our own Hummingbird Highway. I think it's called is it the TV Ramos or the Car Ramos Highway, or there's a change in name. I know it as Hummingbird, old man, but beautiful sceneries. And then on Saturday I was up in Sokots near Benke there, and again that road, I gotta say that road from San Ignacio to Benke Viejo del Carmen is very well done, and what a beautiful scene when you drive from Belmopan all the way up to Benke. We have a very, very beautiful country, and we need to preserve it and keep it that way. But wherever you're watching us from, we love you very much, and we pray that you have a very wonderful week. So we have just about a week and a half to go in the month of July. We're going to start this morning with a weather report. The general situation calls for warm and relatively dry conditions to continue over the area. Over the next 24 hours, we can expect sunny skies and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers, if any, will be isolated. Marine conditions, winds are blowing from the east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with sea state light chop and waves 2 to 4 feet. As it relates to temperatures, we can expect the inland temperatures to be 94 as the high. 75 was the low this morning. You can see that the current temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 27 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be a beautiful sunny day. Inland, the highs will be 94. On the coast, 88 will be the highs and 82 was the low, and in the hills, 82 will be the high and 68 was the low earlier this morning. Now the outlook for the rest of the next 24 hours is for fair and warm conditions to continue. There will be, or there may be, isolated showers on Tuesday and Tuesday night. You can look ahead and see that we are going to have mainly fair and warm conditions with isolated showers for the rest of this week. So you can plan accordingly, right? You can get that yard work done and that outdoor work done this week. Now, as it relates to tropical weather outlook, as of 6 a.m. this morning, Tropical Depression 2 was located near 28.6 degrees north and 85.6 degrees west, or about 110 miles south of Panama City, Florida. The depression was moving to the northwest at 3 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds at 35 miles per hour. Elsewhere in the region, tropical cyclone formation is not expected over the next 48 hours. Now, we know that in the earlier part of the season, which would have been June and now the first half of July, that the hurricanes don't normally form closer to us, they form farther away. These tropical depressions, tropical waves, tropical storms. But then as the year progresses, as we get deeper and deeper into the season, then that's when hurricanes form closer, and so they move straight across before they go up. So we remind Belizeans that we are in the hurricane season, and we encourage you to do some preparation. Just begin from now to put aside a couple canned food. Non-perishables are always best. Don't be like the BDF storing up perishable vegetables, right? It gotta be non-perishables that you put aside, and then in case there is an emergency, you don't have to be spending a lot of money because you've already put aside what you need for the emergencies. Emergencies strike Belize, and we don't know how they are going to strike. And there are different kinds of emergencies, there are different kinds of tragedies and disasters that take place. In Guyana over this weekend, a terrible accident has taken place in the nation of Guyana, where Guyana is a very large country in South America. It's a part of the Caribbean. Just a few months ago, the president of Guyana visited Belize. They have a republic, so they have a president, and I mean they were already experiencing their own corruption charges against him because of a 150-acre farm that was discovered by the opposition, and they were claiming that he was using state funds and that he was passing laws in agriculture that were benefiting himself and his company and his farm, etc. etc. So there was a very large corruption allegations that were coming against the president, and then adding to that, the leader of the opposition, they began to associate him with a murder that had taken place some years ago, and then the president asked that the charges, not the charges, but that the investigation be reopened, and then begin to pull the leader of the opposition into a criminal scandal. So Guyana, over the last almost 2.5 weeks, has been going through some of what Belize is going through with the corruption allegations against the current government as it relates to BDF supplies, Coast Guard supplies, and the Ministry of Defense. Guyana has been having its own issues. And then tragedy struck. Tragedy struck over this weekend as a boat carrying probably close to 100 people. It was an older boat, and it operates between two of the large municipalities. I was saying that Guyana is very large, and so they don't have a lot of roads inland, and so some of the faster way to travel is by boat. And so a lot of people were on that boat, and a very large wave turned that boat over, and so many people are missing. They pulled, I think it was about 60 people out of the water, and many people are still missing. But here what they are now revealing, that half of the people that they pulled out of the water were not on the manifest. So what is a manifest? A manifest is that when you are going to go on a particular trip, especially on the sea, there is supposed to be a manifest, and that manifest has the name of every person. So when you buy a ticket to get on that boat, there should be some form of document that has the names of the people on it. I am trying to recall when we travel to San Pedro and Kikaka, we know there is a ticket booth, and you get a ticket, and that ticket is what you board the boat with. But I cannot recall them taking your name or something like that. So I am thinking here about our situation in Belize. We have boats that travel every day between Kikaka, Belize City, San Pedro, Belize City. And I wonder if we have a manifest. Do we give the ticket holder, the seller of the ticket an ID, and that's entered into a system so that they have a manifest? Well, here is the problem in Guyana. The problem in Guyana is that half of the people that they pulled out of the water were not on the manifest. So that creates a very, very big problem, because if half of the people that you pull out of the water were not on the manifest, then how will they know for sure exactly how many people were on that boat? How do they know for sure those who are missing and those who have drowned? So the manifest of a boat manifest of a plane, the manifest, I know if I go on a trip to Kikaka or San Pedro on a plane, we have to present our ID and our names are written down in a system. So I know for sure that there is a manifest for Tropic Air, there's a manifest for Maya. But the question now stands to bear about our voting systems. I know even when you go on an excursion, when we were in school, that's your manifest. How many students are going, and then you call everybody's name and everybody gets on the bus, and then you go and travel on your school trip. So now you have an accident and the people in Guyana are really in distress because how many people are missing, they are not sure. And that is going to lead to lawsuits, just the fact that there are people on that boat that were not on the manifest. Because let's say your boat has a particular capacity. So if that boat has a capacity for 50 people, I'm just giving that as an example, then there should have been 50 names so that you know that the boat has a capacity which it's licensed for. And so here you have a boat that may have been overcrowded, and let's add something else to that. So there it is, it said it was carrying 133 passengers. And if you look there, if it says what, 67 have been rescued, and that 66 are missing. So half of the people are missing. And then remember, out of that 67, 30 out of them, over 30 of them were not on the manifest. So that is going to lead to some serious lawsuits and maybe even criminal charges, because if you pay tax on the manifest too. So if you think about it, if you are licensed for 50 people, then you would pay tax for the 50 people. But then if you have so many people more and they're not on the manifest, you are cheating the system. You are cheating the system. And so that's going to be a major problem. So please keep Guyana in prayers. I'm starting that way, of course, because Guyana is kind of like a sister country to Belize. I don't know if many of you know that, but many students from Belize get their training in Guyana. Some come back with wife from Guyana or family from Guyana. So Guyana is very close to Belize. I think there is a law school as well there where many Belizean lawyers have trained. So Belize is very close to Guyana. When the president of Guyana came to Belize, they visited the Mennonites. So we know that the president was looking into agriculture, and Belize is a very good example of, in the Caribbean, of agricultural self-reliance, thanks primarily to the Mennonite community. Food security in Belize is very good, very high. And so Guyana came to study that. You know, Guyana has recently found gold, well, they have gold in their hills, but they recently found tremendous amount of petroleum. That is something that I would love to see for Belize, because you can do more with your economy once you find some of these precious resources. Now turning to our next topic, which is football. We can't show no video, but maybe we could show a couple of pictures. But when it comes to, all right, this person says, real change requires deep structural action rather than superficial adjustments. Otherwise, it is merely an illusion that leaves core problems unsolved. When more than half of a board remains the same, you do not have a new board. This person says they can't move it because you have the old board with a few new spectators. It's past time for people to draw a hard line, tolerating repeated nonsense. All right, so somebody is saying that the audio is very low, so let's please make sure that the audio is high. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the Recondev board in Belmopan shortly, but please allow me to congratulate the fans. Please allow me to congratulate the fans of Spain. Spain won in a very, very decisive. Spain won on a very decisive victory yesterday. I had the opportunity with some friends to watch that final game between Argentina and Spain. I have to confess and admit that I am a Messi fan. I am not a very, very outgoing, outspoken football fanatic, all right? But for World Cup, I did select my favorite team, which was Norway. Norway was my favorite team. Unfortunately, though they did a meteoric rise, they did not complete their trajectory. But I was watching Argentina very closely. Of course, I have members of my family that are avid fans of Argentina. I'm wondering, maybe I was rooting for Argentina because of my sons, you know. But I do like how Messi plays football. But I don't know if I could call what I saw yesterday in a World Cup final. I don't know if I could call that high class, classy, spectacular football. I think Argentina did not play a very good game. They did not play a very strategic game. I believe that they played a very nasty game. I think they got at least five yellow cards, and then of course one amounted to a red card for a player who I believe should have been taken off the pitch from soon after his very first infraction, his very first yellow card. I think he should have been taken off. He wasn't. I think it was very clear to me that they were playing a very rough game, and they could not even come into the they had zero attempts, let me put it that way. Zero attempts for goal scoring for most of the game, probably until the last 10 minutes of the game, after a goal was scored by Spain, that Argentina began to really make 2 goal attempts. I think they made 2 goal attempts. And so I think those who were rooting for Spain enjoyed a very, very good game, while those who were rooting on the side of Argentina were definitely let down. Definitely let down. Because I don't think Argentina was playing to win. This person says, disgraceful tactics by Argentina. They should be banned from the next World Cup. They played ghetto ball, not football, even throwing punches after the game. Yeah, I think that they are going to there are going to be discussions about what transpired after that game. I think that Argentina lost fair and square. We were wondering for a period of time if Argentina's strategy was really to just hold back Spain from scoring the entire game and then go into penalty, because Argentina really has a super sensational goalkeeper. The goalkeeper for Argentina saved them multiple times in that game yesterday. So I wonder if a combination of good goleadors like Messi and then a great goalkeeper would have been what they were thinking about to take them to get the World Cup, but it was not to be. So I'm no football, as I say, commentator or anything, but I think that the game that I saw was a very, very rough one, and seeing that Spain did not even get one single yellow card, and yet the Argentina got 5. I think that speaks for itself as to which side was the aggressor, and because they couldn't have any goal attempts for most of the game, that tells you very clearly that the aggression did not work. What was needed was strategy and finesse in ball control. And so the World Cup is over, and we can go back now to our normal daily and everyday business. And so here back in Belize, the conversations continue regarding the issues that are taking place in the BDF. I am grateful that several BDF have come forward to talk about the fact that they are not seeing an improvement in their daily rations. There is a clip that I want to play. I had queued it up. I had sent it some time ago. Let me see if I can resend in. Could you see if I just sent over a link there that this particular BDF person who was responsible for the rationing, not for rationing, but for supplies. So they would be the ones who would order supplies. This is one of the individuals that were previously there that came out and spoke. And we need to hear that video because the number of BDF and Coast Guard has not gone up substantially. In fact, I think Jules was saying this morning on his program that the number of BDF and Coast Guard have not gone up. Yet the amount of food that is being purchased, that's claimed to be purchased, and the amount of money that is being spent on BDF, that it has increased substantially. So we're not seeing better quality. In fact, we're seeing inferior quality, and yet the pricing was going up. And so that was one of the things, areas that I said that we needed to look at to get a complete story. Because if you double the amount of money that you are spending on the BDF and Coast Guard, if you double the amount of BDF and Coast Guard, then you can say, okay, well, see, we are spending more because we have more BDF. Then secondly, you would have said, okay, here are the programs that we did not have before, and we are running new programs, and this is the tune, to the tune of X amount of money. So this is why the prices went up. We are not seeing any new. Are we ready with the clip? So we're not seeing that either. So it's not the quality has gone up. It's not that the quantity has gone up as it relates to the number of soldiers and BDF that they have to bring in. So if quality has not gone up, and then the fighting for has not gone up, then you have to look at inflation. So clearly inflation, the government is arguing that inflation has not run away. You know, that it's very, very small, it's manageable, it's within the scope that is acceptable. So it can't be inflation. So you are looking at some kind of corruption that is taking place. And I have to say that none of the arguments that have been put forward by government, by the Prime Minister, by the ministers that try to defend what is taking place, none of them I find acceptable. None of them to this point I find acceptable. And so we need to make sure that the proper audits are being done when we talk about an investigation. There are many kinds of investigations that can take place, and we have to make sure that as the people of Belize, that we are ensuring that the Auditor General and her department are carrying the right investigation, the right kind of investigation are taking place. All right, let's play that clip. This is a clip probably from late last week or from last week, but I think it is an important key to understand what is taking place. Let's play that clip, and of course we want to hear it in here as well.
Well, in the past, as you rightfully put it, the BDF used to be the sole manager of its resources, procurement of them. I found out that that's not the case. And that's where we are seeing a number of complaints as it relates to the quality, quantity, and time lapse as it relates to the BDF receiving their items. Why is it that the CEO or the minister would want to go through the process of finding out how many pounds of cabbage, carrots, how many pounds of ration we might need, when the BDF would have known exactly who to go to, because the BDF would have already had a relationship with different vendors as it relates to items that they've been receiving historically, quite frankly. And the end users of these products are the solders, and no person better to know what you want is those that are receiving it. But now you're saying that the ministry now has control of that particular function of that process there. It only begs the question why. And so it's, I don't know how to put it, Jules. Honestly speaking, it just points directly to corruption as far as I'm concerned. Because the minister nor the CEO needs to do this. The commander believes Defense Force, he would be maybe the ideal person to, and then he is the ideal person to supervise his department, but that power is taken away from him. It's like, no, all he got to focus on is just what? Training and running operation. He doesn't have the power to purchase his own stuff.
So clearly it is those who are closest to the use of the products that should determine what and where these items should be bought. So the procurement unit would have been from within the BDF itself that would say, okay, here are the items that we need. And BDF are not only in Belize City. We have BDF in Cayo, we have in the south. We have different regiments in different areas. Well, I the move from west and south, so I don't know how the Orange Walk and Corozal aspects function. I anticipate that there would be camps there, but at least I know for sure Belize City, Cayo, Punta Gorda, even Dangriga, there are these units that are there. So how can there be one supplier for vegetables? How do those vegetables reach Toledo, Dangriga, and still be intact? How can they still be fresh? You know, Dangriga has a market, Toledo has a market, and these markets have local suppliers. And so here you have a company from Belmopan that is sending vegetables all over the place. In Belize City, again, there's a market in Belize City. So when it comes to vegetables, the freshest supply would have come from close. And then when it comes to uniform, when it comes to belts, the accessories that go along with the uniform, your boots, your knapsacks. And then in addition to that now, you will also have the food that the soldiers need to take when they go camping, when they go out on patrols, when they have to traverse the border, when they have to stay at Sarstoon and monitor the border. These should be all military grade packaging, military grade food, and not expired, not close to expired. So here you have the movement of these purchases from the BDF to the ministry. So let's say that the government is saying that there was some corruption at the level of BDF, or at that level, which was closer to the BDF. Then that's not a reason to remove the purchasing and take it to ministry. If you find that there was inappropriate behavior with these BDF soldiers who were responsible for purchasing, they should have been disciplined, should they not? There is a military court. Is it there? The soldiers and Coast Guard have their own internal military mechanism to punish or to discipline those who break the law. So military all over the world is like a unit, a complete unit by itself, where there should not be in political intervention, only at the very, very highest level of the BDF should there be some kind of political oversight, because in democracies, we are not a dictatorship. We don't have a president, we have a prime minister. That is the system that we have. And so in these types of countries in the Commonwealth, you do not see where the military overthrows the secular or the political arm, and then the military set up and take over the presidency, or take over the rulership. So there is a distinct difference between the military and civilian, and military tends to run its affairs. So what we have is that something went wrong in the military, where the discipline that should have been intact to keep the integrity of the BDF intact to such a point where they could control their own supplies. Something went wrong there, and then the political civilian arm used that opportunity to take away that authority from the BDF. So that up to right now, the highest commander in the BDF can't talk about food supply for his men. Don't you see that as a problem? If the highest commander in the Coast Guard cannot talk about the food for his men, cannot talk about the the state of the equipment for his men and where those equipment will come from, then it means that our Coast Guard and our police our Coast Guard and our BDF are a waste of time, because these men are under your command. You, as the highest military officer, you should be responsible for the food that your men eat, and for the clothes that they wear, and for the beds that they sleep in, and the condition of the offices that they are in. So how can you, as the head of the military, command a group of men that you cannot dictate what they eat and what they wear? Explain that to me. How will you give your men orders to march 100 miles and you can't control the food that they eat? Belize, it's messed up. It is messed up, Belize, because the politicians are interfering in the affairs of the military. And then, to make it worse, that they claim that the BDF and the Coast Guard are getting better food and better uniform, when the opposite is true, and the very commanders of the Coast Guard and BDF can't say nothing. They can't say anything. And then we find out what the civilians are doing. We find out what the civilians are doing. Being in control of the food and the equipment purchases, and being responsible for the uniforms. And we find out that the very civilians who were once military are now allowing the rape, the pilfering of the very things that the BDF and Coast Guard need to carry out their work. This thing is dirty, Belize. It is dirty, right? Because now the Coast Guard and the BDF cannot be efficient, because instead of being run by military, it's being run by civilians who are now taking the finances that ought to make our soldiers great, make them highly motivated, make them effective, make them efficient. The money is being funneled into family and friends' accounts in exchange for goods and services that the BDF and Coast Guard should have been serving. This is a failure of great magnitude, and it cannot be covered up. And so we await the results of the investigation, but I do not think that it can be swept under the rug. When you have some of these extremely expensive foods being ordered on the list, all right? Ribs, baby back ribs, shrimp, and some very expensive food items. And then the soldiers say, we have never seen that, all the way up to the commander saying, never in my 30 years have I eaten any of those things. So that who eat it, Belize? If it's being delivered. And if it's not being delivered, where is it going? Is it even leaving the places that claim to be selling them? Or is it just the money that's moving, but no goods are being exchanged? And so we need that investigation to look at it very closely. It's 5 minutes, it's 3 minutes after 8 o'clock. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine on PlusTV.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go?
Are you looking for financing on equipment, machinery, vehicles, parts, or tools for you or your business? Benquip and Belize Bank have partnered to make purchasing easier than ever with Belize Bank's convenient online loan application platform. Simply apply online, get fast and secure financing, and access the equipment or vehicle you need to keep moving forward. Even better, use the promo code when applying and enjoy a special promotional interest rate exclusively for Benquip customers. Whether you're upgrading your fleet, investing in new machinery, or purchasing essential parts and equipment, now is the perfect time to make it happen. Visit Benquip today and ask about Belize Bank online loan financing.
Welcome to the William David Fonseca Parking Facility, your modern solution for safe and convenient parking in downtown Belize City. With easy payment options such as prepaid cards or coins, parking downtown has never been easier. Enjoy affordable rates as low as 75 cents for 15 minutes, $1.50 for 30 minutes, and $3 for an hour. Open and available 24/7. Park smart. Park safe. Park at the William David Fonseca Parking Facility. Modern, secure, convenient. Your Belize City Council. Always about the people.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
In the heart of Belmopan, there's a pharmacy that cares for more than just prescriptions. Medicare Plus Pharmacy, genuine patient and community-centered care, isn't just a promise, it's what we deliver every day. From medicines and wellness products to everyday essentials for you, your home, and even your pets. We're here for your entire family. Moms and expecting mothers are welcome to nurse in our private counseling room because your comfort matters. We offer diabetes checks, blood pressure checks, and medical counseling to help keep you informed and in control of your health. We support our community through blood drives, nutrition and wellness programs, and partnerships that make healthcare more accessible for everyone. And when medical information feels overwhelming, our trained staff takes the time to explain, guide, and support you so you can confidently manage your health and improve your quality of life. Medicare Plus Pharmacy Belmopan, genuine patient and community-centered care, always.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Our police officers have a tough job. They work all the time, walking the streets, manning checkpoints, doing special operations in every neighborhood, in every community. They fight crime and keep the peace, serve and protect 24/7. Every day they put their lives at risk, facing hostility, aggression, judgment. And let's be honest, some of our neighborhoods are no joke. Some of our people are no joke. Let's try something different. Let's teach our children to respect the police, because the police have one job: to make our communities safer. And that's something we all want. We need to stop turning a blind eye when our children do bad things. We need to stop protecting the criminals. Belize is small, and in every neighborhood, we know who the bad people are. We know where the gangs, drugs, and guns are. Let's work with the police for the sake of our communities and to save the lives of our children. Let's be the village, all of us. We can have the Belize we want.
A message from the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Violence Prevention and Enforcement Unit.
Give me the real milk, the number one milk, Dana milk, then love Dana milk. You can whip it scream, but Dana milk it is real, yes, Dana milk, then love Dana milk. All over Cayo and in San Pedro, Dana milk, then love Dana milk. Dana milk in the morning, Dana milk in the evening, Dana milk. Give me Dana milk. Up north in Corozal, supermarket and them all, Dana milk, then love Dana milk. All over this land and in Belmopan, yes, Dana milk. Give me Dana milk. Say in Dangriga, down south in Fiji, Dana milk, then love Dana milk. You can hear this talk, cause it's in Orange Walk, yeah, Dana milk. I love Dana milk. Dana milk powder, probably the best milk powder in the world. Dano.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
Are you looking for financing on equipment?
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet
Welcome back to
Belize.
Rise and Shine. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Monday morning, 20th of July. That's right. And whatever part of the country you are, we're grateful that you've joined us. 822-2031 is the number to call us to join us live. And then, of course, I am already receiving text messages at 610-5679. 610-5679. 610-5679. I've had that telephone number now for maybe 20 years, maybe 20 years. And so it's the same number I use on my show that you can contact me during the day or whatever part of the day if there's some thought or opinion that you have on what's taking place in the country of Belize. So I've always kept my same number so that you can reach me on or off the air. We do want Belizeans to give their ideas, to give their opinions of what is taking place in your country. Don't be quiet. Don't be silent. Don't just be a passive observer. You know, this person says if the mechanism that runs a society breaks down and becomes corrupted, then it follows that the whole society will collapse. This is where we are at. So yeah, corruption is close to corrosion, right? So what is corrosion? I think we can understand corrosion if we think about a piece of metal that is exposed to air and it's exposed to water, and all you need is a little crack of that paint, just a little crack of that paint, and some water gets under it, and on the top you will still see the paint, but working underneath, the air and the oxygen, I should say, and that water combine together, and rust begins to develop, and rust begins to weaken the entire structure. Before you know it, a little bit more paint puff up, peel off, and the rust continues. If there is not an intervention, that entire structure is going to collapse because the corrosion just kept spreading because it was not addressed. So when the paint cracked, that was the time to scrape that off, repaint it, and your metal would remain intact. So we understand corrosion, which is a physical process. And you know that a metal product can last forever, practically, if you have the protective paints that cover it and you do the maintenance. So let's look now at corruption in government. Government is a system too, just like a tower or some kind of product made out of metal. And so the cracks will appear because we live on earth. So it's not that we have cracks in our system, but we were supposed to take, once we find that crack, and we were supposed to fix it so that the corruption doesn't spread. But because it wasn't fixed, just with time, more parts of that system become corrupted, more and more parts of corrupt. Remember, no politician can do a corrupt act without the collusion of a public officer. When it comes to money in ministry, money in any of those ministries, the political officer, that politician, must liaise with a person who can turn off and turn on that computer and get into it. There has to be a collusion. And that is why I believe that we need to penalize both the public officers and the political officers that are found in corrupt acts. They both have to be penalized. Someone is recommending that they should not receive pension, that their pension should be taken away from them, that they should be terminated. And it doesn't matter how many years you spend in Parliament, if you abuse your office, if you bring your office into ill repute, you should not be pensionable. And it's the same thing for a public officer. It does not matter how long you have worked with the government. If you collude in a corrupt act, you should not only be terminated, but your pension should be removed. We need stringent financial, not just accountability, but discipline or punishment. They need to be penalized financially for participating in a corrupt act. And we need to reach the point where these acts are not just terminatable. In other words, oh, they find you, the thief money, they fire you. They need to be criminalized. They need to be criminalized. And I'm not a person who so readily and easily believes in criminalization of different aspects of Belizean life. But I believe that theft is one of them. There should be no difference between a person who steals $500 from another individual, or breaks into their home and steals, or takes a gun and holds them up and take $500 from them. There should be no difference between that and a public officer, a politician who takes $500 of another person's money, of taxpayers' money, using a computer. The computer is just the gun. It's just a mechanism by which that money was removed. But we have to have penalties for politicians and public officers who steal from the public purse. So let's talk a little bit about the new board for the Recondev. I believe PlusTV leaked the information of what the new board is going to be based upon a letter written July 16th to Myrna Waite. And it's addressed to Myrna Waite, but then we find out that Myrna Waite is not Waite. She is Waite married to Mira, but then she is addressed as Waite, and it says Reconstruction and Development Corporation. In compliance, do we have that document? Yeah. It says in compliance with Section 5 of the Reconstruction and Development, whatever, the minister responsible for Recondev, and then it says Board of Directors, restructuring the board is responsible for general supervision, and then said listing below are the other appointees. And so we see that Miss Waite, who is really Miss Mira, is going to be the chair, and then what is being named are the different directors. No, and right at the top, Cedric Borland, who was there before, he is there again. And then we see Wilfredo Galvez, Lysandra Burby, Pablo Kawich. Pablo Kawich is current mayor of Belmopan, and so he does have a seat. He was there before, but by virtue of being mayor, so that he's going to continue to be there. Miss MS, but it should be MR, Mike Rodon, Mr. Mike Rodon, and then Miss Carla Bradley and Mr. George Castro. So those are the directors. You know, I don't have a problem with the list really, but I think that Miss Waite should have been given her proper name, which is Waite Mira or Mira, so that Belizeans see that you are putting back a Mira. That you, I mean, put back a Mira if you will put back a Mira. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with that. It's a different person. She is Waite. She is Waite. She's a different person, and should have her own ideas, and hopefully function with integrity. So I wouldn't just want to cast her aside because she is married to Amira, but I think that it should have been placed there. So it looks like an attempt to hide the fact that the person is Amira or is married to Mira. All right. Now, Belize is a small country. We're not a very large country, and I think there is an argument for you would still want a representative of Mr. Mira on the board. Some would say yes, but not a family member. Okay, I think there's an argument for that too. Because he is still the era representative. So I know that Borland and Castro, the first name and last name, are very close and very much affiliated with the Mira administration. He's still area rep of the city. So it's a change. Now, my problem is bigger than the changing of the directors of Recondev, because the PUP manifesto promised that Recondev would be dissolved. So my question would be, is the purpose of this board the eventual dissolving of the Recondev structure and then handing over the assets to the Belmopan City Council? If that is the purpose of this board, then I approve the board, you know, because we do not need a Recondev in Belmopan. The days of Recondev are over, which is why the previous board was just using it, their power wrongly, right? So there should not be a Recondev, but we need a Recondev board if the purpose of that board is the eventual, or in the next year or so, you wrap up the business of Recondev and dissolve the board and allow our city council to be able to carry out all of its functions. Then, as I said, no problem. So we will take a wait and see approach here at PlusTV to see if this board functions transparently, functions above board, and functions to carry out what the PUP promised us, which is no more Recondev. So those are my comments on the Recondev issue. So I'm not picking any fight with the members of the new board, but I am holding the PUP to what their promise and commitment was in written form. Speaking of which, I want to speak a little bit before I go on the I brought some documents here because I was going to go over the OSH. The OSH. Don't rush the OSH, don't rush rush the OSH was what my good friend and colleague Luke Martinez kept saying. Rush the OSH. But it's very clear that it should not have taken 17 years, first of all, but that you can't rush it because there are lots of changes that needed to be made, and hopefully those changes are being made in the Senate, because we had a meeting last week and we will see what the changes are going to be that will make this bill, when it becomes law, more palatable for the Belizean people. But I'm running out of time. I'm only going to 7:30, so I will save it for another day. But don't take your eyes off OSH, because this new law will have positive and negative effects. More positive than negative, but it's going to be very costly. It's going to cost a lot. And both employers and employees, this is a necessary bill. I got to say, it's necessary. Too many accidents in our country. Too many people that have been hurt physically cannot continue to work, but they have not been properly compensated for their injuries. We see that people have died in certain cases because proper equipment was not being used. So I fully support OSH. I believe the time is right. However, as I said, we have tried to make some changes that would make the bill better and stronger, I believe, both for employers and employees. That's what I believe. And so it slowed down a little bit in the Senate, but I think for good reason. I believe we will have a better and stronger bill that we can all live with, even though it will be a bit expensive living. It will be more. And I'm going to say to employers, a lot of you employers, some of the people you hire, you know they are not hireable, but you hire them anyway. And these people will now be able to bring tremendous liability to your company. I'll tell you that plain and straight. So those of you sometimes as an employer, you have a nice, kind heart, and you have people on board that you keep them on because you try to be patient, hoping that they're going to become a little bit more efficient. And that efficiency, if it causes accidents on your compound or anything like that, you become heavily, heavily, heavily liable, I'll tell you that. And for employees too. Employees, I would say, you know, do the right thing, be honest on your workplace, with your equipment, make sure you wear all the safety stuff. One of the things where I notice people who do weed eating, the first thing where they do not take off the guard. First thing where they do, we kind of feel that the guard keep them back or hold them back. Listen, that guard is there for a reason. So all of those things, some of the habits that employees have need to change. Because if your boss give you that weed eater with the shield on and you go take the shield off, that's liability. That's potential liability. That money will not come from your company. You will have to pay it. So government will be collecting for so many of these things. So as I said, we don't, it has not passed yet. I do look, okay, we do look, okay, this person is trying, okay, very good, we'll do so. So we want to be able to, when it passes, that it's something everybody can live with. And it does surprise me how some of these things pass through the lower house without going to the upper house. These things pass through the lower house, and there's so many errors or things that can change in them. All right? So I don't think the lower house is reading these things to the depth that they should read it. These are just some thoughts that I have. All right? So I gotta wrap up, but just before I do, I think someone is saying that I may have not have some accurate information on the ReconDev issue, and I do want to make sure that I have all of my information in order. All right, so probably tomorrow morning I will be correcting if there is any error. All right, so the last thing that I do want to talk about before I go those is the issue of Gamboa. So sorry, let me just make sure that I have the name correct. So in Aaron Gamboa, he is of course a senior officer in the police department, and I think he's known across the country. He was in charge of the special patrol unit, but I think a lot of people have begun like he became popular in a sense through football and police football. And so Aaron Gamboa, Gambis as we know him, very, very well known, as I said, but his children, I think one of them is in, or one of them for sure is in the police. Maybe two of them are in the police, because the younger son, Aaron Jr., he's in the police, and then there is, I'm trying to get his first name. It's John. Trying to get his name. How is it pronounced? John, right? John or I'm mixing him up with some of my kids, but this is a kid, not a kid anymore, but from very young, he's very bright. And then I think he got into football, did very well in that area, entered into the police department, did very well, did academics, went to University of Belize, qualified himself with a degree, and has not only performed well in police department, but performed well academically, and then applied for a post in the transport department, went up for his interviews and applications with everybody else who applied, and won the seat. So he was gainfully employed by virtue of his academic qualifications, as well as by his high standard of carrying himself, and very quiet, very reserved individual. And I want to say well deserving of the position that he has received. I was shocked at the amount of negativity. I am shocked at the amount of bullying. I am shocked at even the media houses dragging this young man's name through the mud. Why? Why? Just because his father is well known, well recognized. Why can't the son have his own reputation? Why can't the son have his own shot at progressing in life? Why is it that we feel that every single case is nepotism or pull string? You know, I believe that the reason is because we pull a lot of strings. We pull string. Most Belizeans that I know, pick up the phone and try to pull a string where they can pull a string. Most Belizeans will try to pull a string. It is literally a part of our culture or DNA to try to see who we know, to see if we can get an edge in. Now, I'm not saying that good or bad. I'm just saying it is a common practice. And then secondly, we are a small country. Cousins have to get a job. Relatives have to get a job. We picnic have to get a job. They need to get a job. They need to get a scholarship. They need to get these things. And it is not in every single case that it is pull string. Some of us to get land, the pull string. Some of us forget house and get on the housing list, the pull string. Forget in the school where we want to go, the pull string. Pull string is a normal part of the Belizean culture. I'm not saying that it is good or it is bad. I am saying that it is a reality. In our country, it is a reality. Some want to pick near the work that gas station because you pull string. Builders hardware or pull string. Pick up the phone and say, hey, could you please help such and such? No. This is called influence. And as our population expand, right, more people become totally unrelated to the power base, if I could call it that. Then pull string becomes very, very bad for your country because people with the natural ability won't get it, and just people who have connections will get it. But I want to state categorically that it's not everything in Belize that is pull string. It's not everything. That people should be given an opportunity, regardless of what their name is or regardless of what their title is, to prove for themselves that they have the capacity to carry out a work. You know, I know people with last name Briseño, we can't get no job. They can't get no job. They can't get job on the PUP, they can't get job on the UDP. And they're highly qualified. Highly qualified. But because you got one last name in a one political party, the next party no want you. Because you have a last name where they identify with the next party. And then sometimes the very same party where they identify you with, you don't know a member, so you still get short. So we really, really, and it goes for the Recondev board as well. Like we really, really need to be careful that we judge each person on their own action and ability rather than just look at a last name and say like this person is not going to do good, or this person is going to do bad, or this person got that post because of pull string. But like we need to be careful. So are there real cases like that? Yes. It's a part of a culture, right? So I also believe that there are some people that one political party, if they get into government, they will never hire you. They just look at your name and you will never be hired. You will never get a chance because you have the wrong name. So that individual is already disenfranchised by the other side. You could forget scholarship, you could forget land, you could forget house, you could forget whatever is a resource that political party controls when they get in, you can forget that you are going to be a part of that. So as long as that party is in, you're getting nothing. So let me ask a question. When that party comes out and the next party comes in, should that person be alienated too? Should that person be alienated too? So they already eliminated by one party by virtue of name, right? So what should the next party do? Eliminate them too? Can I say, why? Well, you know you got my last name, and you know them people out there, they don't like so you get double disenfranchised. You get double disenfranchised. Well, so we have to be careful of that. I'm telling you, Belize, I old enough, watch PUP win and lose long enough to clearly see that even though it is true that there are people who benefit highly from the system, there are also people who are highly disenfranchised by the very same by the very same system. So we have to balance it out. And I think to each his own. Like I should be responsible for my actions. I should be responsible for my actions. My father has the name Louis Wade too, but I should be responsible for my actions. My father should be responsible for his actions. Then I have a son with Louis Wade name too. My son should be given a free and equal shot. Even if you disenfranchise me, I believe that my child should be given a fair shot independently of his name. And I think that's what's wrong. And so as I said, the issue of Jean Gamboa is one that I believe is really unfortunate, because here is a bright young man, here is a rising star, here is a qualified individual, here is a person who has excelled and exemplified himself, separate from his father, separate from the sphere of his father, has proven himself, applied through the process, won through the process, will no doubt do an excellent job, and a quiet guy, very bright, loves his country, and want to just splatter the man's name all over the country. Splatter the man's name. You know, people cuss me out because I said that I support Bella. I support Bella. I didn't say I agreed with Bella. As a matter of fact, even before Bella made the comments about under 10,000, and as I said, it wasn't a comment, it was a motion, before I had already gone on record to say that that 10,000 thing for corrupt the seal don't make sense, not right now. I had already said that from the time the first minister said it. I said, I do not agree. So now, Bella, loving Bella, beautiful Bella, Queen Bella, oh, she get all the love of the Belizean people, oh, but the minute she made a statement and aligned herself politically, man, the bullying, the words, the defamation of her character, the slinging of mud, that is unbecoming of what true Belizean spirit should be. I mean, there are only two political parties. People will belong to one or the other. they will belong to one or the other. And this girl has the right, if she believes the 10,000 is too low, like she has the right. Like, why can't you disagree with a person's position without tearing up the person? Right? So I love Bella, agree Bella. Bella is the future. John Gamboa is the future. They're the future. Like these people, we should, even if we disagree, we should protect them. Like, we don't just take anybody we don't like, we don't just drag them through the mud. This is unacceptable. And that's why I made my comments concerning the Recondev board. Because every individual must prove for themselves, regardless of their name, they should prove for themselves that they have the capacity and the capability. Me know someone who don't agree with me, you know, I don't care. I don't care. Right? Because like my son is not me. And I am not my father. And sure we have the same name. I can't touch my father as it relates to his work and his ministry through this country. He's a man of integrity. I am a man of integrity too, but I take a different path. I take a different path. I have my own ideas and opinion on the country, and even on certain theological perspectives or biblical perspectives. Right? And it's the same with my son. He's a man of integrity as well too, but it is demonstrated in different ways. Right? So the Bible says, who eats our grapes, it is their teeth that should be set on edge. So the Jews used to say, the father has eaten sour grapes, and the kids and the children's teeth are set on edge. The father has eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. And God say, no longer shall this proverb be used in Israel. You hear that? No longer shall this be used in Israel. It say, if the father does something wrong, the father should be penalized. If the son does something wrong, the son should be penalized, but that the son should not be penalized for the father or daughter. That's scripture. So if you call yourself a Christian, you need to align yourself that each person should give account for their own actions or lack of action. Each person should. In other words, if the father eats sour grapes, the father teeth should set on edge, but the child should be independent. So we need to be careful in a small country when we just say a last name or something like that and we immediately attribute things. Okay? So you might not agree with me, but I stand upon scripture. I stand upon the word of God on this matter, that people should be judged by their own actions or lack thereof. And so I will close with that, and God willing, tomorrow we'll continue the conversation. So thank you very much for your time. Boy, it's 8:51. I gotta go. The day is calling. From all of us here at Rise and Shine, God bless you, please. See you tomorrow.
Oh, hi. Welcome. Today's topic for our 60-second health talk is going to be hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers produced by various glands in the human body, such as the thyroid, adrenal gland, and ovaries if you're a female, testes if you're a male. They regulate key functions like growth, metabolism, mood, and reproduction. In males, testosterone plays a key role in muscle mass, libido, and in bone density. While in females, estrogen and progesterone govern menstrual cycles, pregnancies, and overall bone health. Hormones are crucial for our everyday lives and function, and imbalances can lead to conditions such as hypothyroidism, diabetes, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, also known as PCOS. For example, low estrogen in men can lead to fatigue, low libido, and muscle loss, while low estrogen in women can lead to osteoporosis or hot flashes during menopause. Hormones come from the endocrine gland and are released into the bloodstream to target specific key functions or organs in the body. Their imbalances is vital in maintaining our overall health and well-being. My name is Madeline Tucker. I am your medical scientist here with a 60 seconds of health.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef.